like, I get in my head thinking that I'm gonna mess up or something. So I just like take a deep breath. We all say a quick prayer before every single time. Ever since I can remember, every single show before we go on stage, every dancer usually prays. But behind, we just like hold hands, all go in a circle with the artist or whoever it is, and we just like pray everything's gonna be. We're gonna have a great show. Let's put on a great. We know what we're doing. Let's go and have a great time. If you get lost, you miss a step, just keep it on going and just smile and just look at a camera, look at an audience, and just like whatever, do a show. Like keep the show must go on no matter what.
Hi, everyone. Welcome aboard Jumpseat Therapy with your host, Kevin Weaver. I have a very special guest with me today, um, co-worker, flight attendant, dancer, Michael. Hi,
Hey,
Michael. Welcome aboard the
hey, how
Jumpseat.
are
How
you?
are you?
How are you, Kevin? Good, good. Glad to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Absolutely. I'm so excited. I'm so excited you were willing to do this with me and let me interview you. You have a
Yeah,
really
I'm
interesting
excited.
story.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Well, cool. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself and let my audience know, our audience, because this is everyone's podcast, right?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about you.
So I am obviously a flight attendant. I've been with the company for 6 years now, and I'm currently based in Dallas, and I'm from Puerto Rico. And yeah, I'm also a dancer on the side. I used to dance a lot way before this job, but yeah, trying to do both. So yeah, that's me.
Awesome. I love that. I love flight attendants who have a side job because, like, especially with the company the way it is right now, it's like,
Yeah,
well, I don't know. So
yeah,
that's awesome, and I love for people to share their little side stories and like their side job and hobby or whatever it may be, to
yeah.
kinda give inspiration to some other people who may be just starting as a flight attendant and everything. So you're a dancer as well. So explain to me a little bit about that. Or let's go into flight attendant first. So what inspired you to be a flight attendant?
Flight attendant. So I remember before starting with living in Puerto Rico. I was dancing with a company, and I was also working at the airport for another airline. I was a ramp agent at the time for JetBlue. And I remember we had get-togethers, the ground personnel with the supervisors and also flight attendants. And I remember this one time, our managers rented this house in the island, and a bunch of flight attendants stayed that fly for also other airlines. And they were just telling us stories about, yeah, how was the life being a flight attendant? Since we're always in the ground personnel, so we're like, oh, we always see below, we work below the wing, and we always wonder what it was like to be a flight attendant and travel the world. Um, and they were like, yeah, so next week we're going here, or I'm going to like Italy, I'm going to this place. So there are always like this crazy stories that I was like listening to, and I'm like, I would love to do that at some point. I'm like, I think I can do it. Like I'll try it. I always tried, but I never. I tried since I was in the airline. I tried applying with them, and I didn't get it. And then come to find out, I applied with them. And I'm like, oh, maybe I was meant to be flying with this one instead of that one. So I'm like, it completely changed my mind. So that was my motivation. Just like hearing everybody's story when we're all like working for the company, and like I was working in another area, and hearing stories about what it was like being a flight attendant, being able to like have layovers and like travel wherever, whenever you wanted. So it was like I wanted to do that, and then a couple of years later, I tried and I became it. So yeah,
Well, I'm glad you are. Yeah, we got to
yeah,
meet. Got to work a great trip together. Now we're still friends.
yes, yes, yes,
We had jump seat therapy, of course, on the jump seat, and then
yeah.
became
And
friends
on the
after that.
van, on the shuttle
And on the
to
shuttle,
the
yeah,
to the
shuttle
airport.
therapy.
Yeah, I remember we
Uh,
had that Miami layover. Yeah,
yes, that was so fun.
yeah,
And you were based in Miami at one point, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
2019. Yes.
Yes, that's right. And then you did a bunch of dance stuff there too, which I think it would be cool to get
Yeah,
into, because that was really inspiring for me to know how you did all of that and instructed and everything. So,
yeah.
what really inspired you then to be a dancer? What got you in that?
I Yeah, dancer. I started kind of later. I started when I was in ninth grade in high school.
Mm.
But I've always danced. Like I've always loved music. I was in band before when I was middle school. The whole middle school I was in band, so I play instruments and alto saxophone and whatnot. And then I became doing sports. I started doing sports, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do like long term. So I tried like baseball, I tried basketball, I tried boxing. So I boxed for a bit as well. And then I landed in dancing, and I joined the dance team, high school dance team, and I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna try out and see whatever. And that led into doing festival shows, and then like we opened Salsa Congress in Orlando where I was living at the time. And from there, I just kept getting gigs, and they're like, oh, there's a dance studio that saw me. They're like, oh, would you like to perform with my team here in Miami? Would you like to fly here and perform? So I was getting all the things just by joining a dance team in high school, and I'm like, oh, okay. So then I liked it. I started getting paid doing one show in a hotel, and I'm like, oh, I think I want to do this. And then I started taking it serious.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, yeah, it was a high school dance team.
Nice.
And that was been a long time ago. And up to today, we're still in touch. The first dance team that I ever did from high school, we're still friends. And every year,
Mm.
we like, we get together for like a Friendsgiving or whatever. I haven't done it in a few years because I've been like away, but we're still very much close since
Oh,
2006, to be exact. Yeah.
wow. That's
Yeah, we're still
awesome.
friends. Yeah, we're still friends. The first dance team ever, because that's when we all started dancing. So it's been pretty cool.
Oh, I love how your connection with people in general. It's really
Yeah.
contagious. Your personality and everything. It's like I
Thank you.
want to
You
be
too.
around it. It's so good.
I
Um,
appreciate it.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And we need more of that in this world, I feel like. But it's
Yeah.
really embodying that though, I think, it's not just like, oh, I want to be this awesome person. It's just like just accept these things, these positive things in your life and just know that um you're worthy of that. I think all of us are, and it's
Yes.
it definitely radiates through you and I love that. And it's just connected immediately whenever I was like, oh, somebody else who loves themselves too. In a
Yeah.
good way, not like in a
Yeah.
like not in a conceited way. It's like you
Yeah,
can
I get
tell
it.
it's like I love myself so I can love everyone else as well.
Yes.
Yes, and
Yeah.
it's very awesome, and that's how you stay connected with people. So I like that you shared that you're still friends with these um people that you did dance with back in
Yeah.
2006, you said? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It's been a
awesome.
while. It's
I
been a
love that
while.
about life. Well, okay, let's go ahead and get into some more deeper questions. I usually kind of
All
go
right.
surface things like that first and go in a little deeper. So one thing I like to kind of ask a lot of people is, life is challenging, right? There's a lot of
Yeah.
things in life that are really hard, and it's on the jump seat. I would really like to ask people like, how do you handle some of the toughest challenges in life? So my first question for you, I guess, would be, on that deeper question would be, uh, what are some ways you handle some of the toughest challenges in life?
Um, it depends on, well, every challenge, everybody goes through everything. I started, well, the very first hard challenge that I had when I was 16, I lost my brother, and it was my mom's first son. So I had to, like, my mom went to depression. So I took over. My dad wasn't there because they split, and I had to take care of my family. So I got three jobs, and I was 16, and I was paying for the house. I had the house under my name, and I was going from one job to another job to another job for a long time so I can keep my family afloat. So that helped me grow up real quick, and I had to become the man of the house at a young age. And that's when I'm like, if I can get through this, I can get through anything. So that was like the very first thing that I had to learn real quick. Um, I just like I never lose hope. I have a lot of faith in God. I was, Christian, and I was praying when everything happens. Been through many, many, many things, many losses, and many health stuff, and like yeah, just pray about it and just try to calm myself and just like I don't know. I like to like put myself like in a room or like go on a walk or whatever and like decompress. And then when I'm with my family, I'd like to be strong and like it's okay, everything's gonna be fine and calm everybody. I'm just like I'm well taking a lot other people's stress and just like decompressing them, helping them like calm down and ground themselves. And then I'll just take care of it on my own. But yeah, that was the main one. That's how I handle it. Just like I like to take care of people and family and loved ones and friends. And it's just praying about it and like finding a way to de-escalate the circumstances or the tough moments. But yeah, just praying and just like having faith that everything's gonna be all right and just doing something about it.
I love that. Yes. It's
Yeah.
so true because like and it's like it's almost avoided nowadays to do
Yeah.
that. It's like kind of sad that it seems to be taboo to
Yeah.
pray or it's like so biased, and it's
Mm.
well, no, like that when you say pray, that word prayer means so many
Mm.
things to so many different people. Like for me, when I was, I grew up really religious in a negative way.
Yeah.
So when I hear the word prayer, I cringe, right? I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
but it's like as I step out of that and really identify what that is to me,
Yeah.
and how I can cope through challenges and stuff in life is, I can totally relate to on that because I do.
Yeah.
It's like, especially when the toughest things in life happen, you kind of
Hmm.
have no other choice but to like go to that higher power or source or whatever
Yeah.
it may be, whatever it is, so it's like, it really does. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thanks for the answer. I like
You're welcome.
that. All right, well, here we go with our level two questions.
All right.
Um, so let's dive into this. How do you balance being a flight attendant and working as a dance instructor slash dancer?
So since we are kind of lucky and blessed to have our schedule the month before in advance, we get it every month, the month before. We have time to like see what days off we have the next month, and I can see what I can do and teach private classes or whatever. Like I just go by that whenever I get my schedule on the 18th. That's when I can reach out to my students and be like, I'm off this day, this day, this day, so you can book a class this day and try to get as many people as I can in those days. And that's how I do balance teaching wise. And then dancing wise, whenever I have a layover, I try to look for a dance studio. Like if I have a layover in New York or wherever I am, I just look for a dance studio. And on my layover, I would take an extra bag and I would go to a dance class wherever it is. I've taken a class in Jacksonville, Florida. I didn't even know there was, close to where we stay. I
Wow.
just searched dance studios near me and I'll just go and take a random class so I could always keep training no matter where I am. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. So you kind of keep up with everything.
Yeah. Try to
Yeah, I could see
balance
that.
both. Yeah.
Right. I love that. Um, yeah, because it could be really challenging in general. Because like me, even with this podcast, I just started it, but it's like my side thing. I probably won't make
Yeah.
money with it, but like, it's something that's I consider like a hobby, and I kind
Yeah.
of balance that with along with flight attending as well, and just
Yeah.
but so hearing that from you, I remember you sharing some stuff with me on the jump seat about how you're able to uh I guess transition with both careers in a
Yes.
way. It's a career too, so it's but you definitely are a hard worker for sure.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's like you work
So are
hard
you.
that. Well, I try, but you like hearing from you, it's inspired me, and it's actually you're one of the ones who inspired me with this podcast. I don't think it was on my mind at the time. Maybe it was. I don't remember, but I was like, "Ah, I feel lazy.
I remember we were in the shuttle
Mike,
on the way to the
yeah,
hotel. You're like, I need to do something because you were
I do
telling
something.
something about your sister was doing something. And you're like, I should be doing something. I'm like, yes, you should.
Right. My brain was going to mush. I
Yeah.
was like, I have to do something. And as I'm
Yeah.
like stepping back into this world and at one point, like I would say for like 5 years, I was kind of in this big
Yeah.
funk of like, I just don't want to be here and da, 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 just really negative space, right? And
Yeah.
I just said, you know what, I after the loss of my friend, I just kind of came to a place where I was like, I don't want to do that to because he died to suicide. So it's like I don't want
Yeah.
to do that. And I used to, I don't want to go deep into that, but I said, what's going to help ground me? What's going to
Yeah.
help me stay here because I do not want to leave that to my loved ones because I know what
Sure.
it feels like. And as I'm, done a lot of healing and working through a lot of those things, I'm like, what do I do? And I feel like this kind
Hmm.
of presented itself and said, okay, well, let's do it. So it means
Yeah.
so much to me. Like you have no idea. I almost want to cry because you being here, because I feel like this is,
Oh.
yeah, it's something I
No,
feel.
you told me when you told me about it, I was so
Yeah.
excited. I was literally, I don't know, like if like typing can get reactions. I was like, yes, I'm so excited for you. Like, yeah, I'm gonna tell everybody. I was working with the crew. I was when you sent me the first one, I was working a flight. I'm on the plane. I'm like, yeah, I'll check it out when I land. And I'm like, no, I sat on my jump seat and I was listening to the first podcast.
Oh,
And I told my crew, I'm like, oh my God, you have to look it up. You have to search it out. Oh my God, who is it? It's a flight attendant. I flew with him. So I told my crew, two of my
oh,
crew was
dang.
there and they're gonna look it up. So I'm just like spreading the word. I'm like, everybody, go check it out.
Awesome. Well, hopefully, maybe I can even get
Yeah.
them as a interviewee on here. You'll inspire them
Yes.
to watch
Yeah.
and to say, hey, because I really do just want to create a big positive space for everyone to
Yeah.
share our stories, and especially with what's going on in the airline industry in general, like
Yeah.
a lot going on. And so I just really want to spread light and, give people comfort in these times, with it. And I feel like this is one way I feel like I can do that maybe, because I can't
Yeah,
control
of course.
everything else around me, but I control me,
Yeah, of course. That
and
is,
with
and you're
people
doing
like,
it, so I'm proud of you.
yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. All right, well then let's go into the next question. I also kind of wanted this episode to be a little bit about fear. So I'll
Okay.
just some more questions about that because I think especially when it comes to the arts of dance
Yeah.
or anything, like anything TV, commercial, whatever it may be, it's when you're using your body or your face or whatever, it's
Yeah.
very for most people, I know for me, it's like so much fear behind it. I've done a little bit of acting and stuff before, mostly
Yeah.
stage stuff, like nothing, professional, but it's very nerve-wracking, and
Yeah.
I want to definitely go into dive into some questions like that. So the next question, how do you overcome fear in your art as a dancer?
How do I overcome fear? I always get, well, it's more very nervous because I'm a very nervous person as it is. I was like,
Or
oh
do
my
you
God.
overcome it?
Um, so before I get on stage, when I do like big shows, I did a reality show. I was the backup dancer for this big event, and my biggest thing is before I go on stage, like everybody, at least like knowing that I'm not alone because there's a lot of you're working with a bunch of dancers and like the artists and all these things. I've done backup dancers for like concerts and like music awards and all that. And before we go, like during rehearsal, it's like, yeah, so you know the stage, you know the area. But then when it comes to like they start the music and we're backstage and you hear the whole crowd, like thousands of people like screaming and shit. I get nervous. We all, it's normal to get nervous. And I just like have to think about remind myself that I know the steps. I know I got this. We've rehearsed for like days and days and hours, many hours. So it's like I have to like remind myself that I know what I'm doing. Not it's like I feel like I feel I hear people screaming and like yelling and like in excitement. So like whatever. And then I'm like, oh, I get in my head thinking that I'm gonna mess up or something. So I just like take a deep breath. We all say a quick prayer before every single time, ever since I can remember, every single show before we go on stage. Every dancer usually prays, but behind we just like hold hands, all go in a circle with the artist or whoever it is, and we just like pray everything's gonna be. We're gonna have a great show. Let's put on a great, we know what we're doing. Let's go and have a great time. If you get lost, you miss a step, just keep it on going and just smile and just look at a camera, look at an audience and just like whatever, do a show, like keep the show must go on no matter what. So I just remind myself it's just the entertainment and just like remind myself like I got this, we got this. I have a group of people that are behind me and we are doing the same thing. So I can always look at the next person and take it from there. But yeah, just yeah, having faith that everything's gonna remind yourself that you got this and just like stay positive. And yeah.
That's so true. I love that.
Yeah.
Ah, um, I have to do that before this.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
this is right now. I have to like I pray, and it's really interesting because I was just having a conversation with my sister a minute ago about like, I don't know how I do the beginning of these episodes. Like I get a little nervous
Yeah.
myself, and I always have to do a little prayer, but like I don't feel like all my audience or my interviewees are going to be comfortable with that, or
Yeah, yeah.
it's interesting though. But I feel like setting my biases aside, like I've been practicing and really just stepping into for my life.
Yeah.
I want to be able to just be bold in that and just be like, yes, like come together, like
Yeah.
you know, set the ego aside, me open up to everything and knowing things outside of yourself and everything.
Yeah.
It's like so important to not just go off with your own ego and off your own self because
Hmm.
there's things that we can't control, right? And so
Yeah.
it really does set the pace for that fear. I guess, it puts
Hmm.
puts it aside a little bit so you can step forward and say, no, I
Got
have
this.
something bigger than me that's pushing me forward. And we can, as a
Hmm.
group, like you said, and as dance is like, we can all do that as a group, and it's even bigger.
Oh yeah.
That fearless stage is bigger.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does dance teach us about our day-to-day life? How would you describe that? No, 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 wait.
Ooh, I love how, for example, how it teaches us. It taught me, and many other people, how to that no matter what language they speak, we all can get together through dance because I've had layovers, so I've just like traveled wherever I traveled that I don't speak the language, but then I go to like a salsa social or like a dance social and I would dance salsa or ballroom or bachata or cha-cha, whatever. And they're all dancers. So there's dancers all over the world. So wherever I go, whether it's Italy or the other side of the world, Japan, wherever, there's always going to be people that dance salsa and like events and socials. So I would go. And even though I don't speak the language, I can have a connection with a person by just dancing. Um, and it's what teaches us is that it's a way of communicating with people without even using words, if it makes sense.
Mm. Yeah.
Um, so it's just amazing how two people randomly just go to a place and they've all both been training or taking classes, the same style of dance, but in different countries, and they meet in one certain country or one place, and they're able to practice those moves and like do all these things, connect through that person without even knowing anything about that person or the culture or where they train or whatever, but having that connection through dance is just really amazing without having to learn their language.
Wow. It's like dance is a language in itself.
Yeah.
And it's like you can
Yeah.
connect to
So
that.
it's
That's
like,
like that.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's what made me think of. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's,
A
yeah.
beautiful experience. I'm like, I get excited every time I see someone dance salsa. Like
Yeah.
anywhere, I'm like, oh my God, can I dance with you?
So I
Yeah.
dance around my house all the time. It's not great.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
you can teach me lessons. By the way,
Yeah.
anybody. First of all, too, I would like other people to know how they can reach you. So probably by the end of the podcast, I would like to you to give your information if you want
Oh yeah, of
to
course.
reach out because there's just so much in it. I love dance in general. Like I said,
Yeah.
I'm not great at it, but at home
Yeah.
by myself, dance like nobody's watching.
Yeah,
I
of
do
course.
that in public, but it's people are probably like, "What's wrong with him?" But who cares? They're not watching, right?
Yeah, of course. Having
So,
fun.
but anyways, at home, I definitely I enjoy it. It's fun. It's
Yeah.
something with singing too. Like I'll sing and I'll dance and I'll do whatever. It's
Yeah.
not great, but it's like it gets me into this like um flow of life of just like don't take everything so serious. And that's
Yeah.
what a dance means to me. It's like, oh, it's so fun. It's just liberating.
Letting go. It's just letting go.
Yeah, letting go.
Letting go.
Absolutely. Um, and kind of back on the thing with fear, it's like let it go, letting go,
Mhm.
and
Trust
not,
the process.
yeah,
Mhm.
just the process. Yeah, it's like just it's so important.
Yeah.
And I love that. But I love that how you
Mhm.
explain too with different cultures coming together,
Mhm.
different and it's just like the language of dance, like everyone's coming
Yeah.
together and they can that's so beautiful. I love that with like really anything. It's just cultures in general, like unity. Like at the end of my podcast, I always say love, peace, and unity because
Yeah.
there's unity is bringing people together, and it's kind of like with drag too. And I know you've done some work with some drag queens
Yes.
with dance and stuff in the background. So
Yep.
I think it's just really cool because it's the same thing with that. I hear when I watch RuPaul's Drag Race, about
Hmm.
um the language of drag, it's all the same language, but if you watch like all the other countries do it, it's just like there's still this fundamental connection everyone has, and that
Hmm.
like that with dance, singing, all of it. It's the arts, of things. There's something spiritual about it, I feel.
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful. So okay, well let me go to the next question then. I like this question because it's just something I feel a lot of us struggle with.
Okay.
I know I did for the longest time,
Okay.
but how do you practice self-love and self-care? What does that look like for you?
Self-love and self-care. I had to learn and be okay with being alone and just like, because I'm a person that I always put everyone first and I'm like doing everything for everyone. I'm like, then a moment came that I'm like, whenever I feel like, oh, at least like, okay, once or twice, every like 2 or 3 weeks, I'll go and like, I'll have like a spa day, just like get a manicure, pedicure, get a facial, and just like go somewhere, go shopping, or take myself out to like a nice restaurant, just like a date for one, just me, myself, and I. I'll go to a layover and just go to like anywhere and just take myself out or take myself on a trip. I always travel by myself. But it's just like reminding myself and learning that it's okay to be alone and like I don't need people. Like I can make myself happy by either taking myself on a trip, as I said, or just like going shopping or going just like being at home listening to chill music. I just like to, if I'm coming home from a long trip or whatever, I just like play chill music, relaxing music, maybe have a glass of wine and just like do nothing. Just like that's my just do nothing. Yeah, just I don't know how to explain it.
I
Be
love
lazy.
that. Yeah, no, that's really
Yeah.
beautiful. I love that because you said something about being alone, and I feel like so
Yeah.
many of us, well, with our job, it's like we do it
With
all
this
the time,
job,
so we get
yeah,
used
yeah.
to it. But it was something hard for me to settle with being alone because
Mm.
I don't know about you, but my thoughts used to be so scary. So being
Oh,
alone was like, I don't want to be
same.
alone. I don't want to be these thoughts. So I was always around somebody. So
Yeah.
being alone, that's really cool because like you can discover so many things about
Oh
yourself
yeah.
and the independent self,
Mm.
and learning to uh, find solace in some of the darkest moments in your own mind,
Yeah.
it's very important and key because at the end of the day, when you are alone, what do you do? What do you do with that part of you,
Sure.
And go treat yourself. Stuff
Hmm.
like that's
Oh
just
yeah.
one of your things. It's really good. That's good. So important. To do for ourselves. And I don't think we do it enough because, like you
Yeah.
said, I think from the beginning, you said we like to take care of everyone else.
Yeah.
We're so quick to just try to, you know,
Hmm.
have to hold things together and do this, and that,
Yeah.
and kind of control everything. I don't know. For me, that's how I was. I was just trying to control
Hmm.
a lot of things in my life. And when you just learn to let that go and say, you know what, if I'm not okay, then those
Hmm.
around me aren't going to be okay because, we're all connected.
Yeah.
I've got to take care of myself, and what does that look like, and then discover that. And I think it really starts with that sitting alone.
Yeah.
So cool, fair enough. Good.
Cool.
So, all right, well then next question I have is and this is another little touchy subject, but what does spirituality mean to you?
Ah, spirituality. Um, very, as I mentioned, I am Christian and I've gone to church and all that. I have always been a very positive spiritual, like I believe in God. I know everybody believes in what they believe, and I've gone through so many personal things through faith and believing that there's a higher power, and I have a really story that is very personal, but one thing that really literally opened my eyes and showed me that there was comfort in trusting and believing and having hope and all that. And this is a quick story. It's very it made me even more spiritual. Uh, Many years ago, I woke up. This is like a personal story, but I'm going to share it because why
I
not? You know.
Oh, please
Um.
share it. I want to
Okay.
hear these things. These
Yeah.
are so intriguing to me. I love this. Okay.
So in 2018, I woke up and I was completely blind out of both eyes. I got retinal detachment before this job. I got retinal detachment on both eyes. So I was blind for 2 months. I was told by 7 doctors that I was never gonna see. I was at the uh, Advent Health in downtown Orlando hospital for a whole month. People trying to see what was wrong with my sight because I just woke up and I couldn't see. I was there for a month at the hospital. And then they released me and I went to my family's house for another month. And I was told I was never going to see. They told my mom, your son is never going to see because he got retinal detachment. They never reattached his eyes before a certain period, 72 hours. That's how much it needed to be healed before I can get my sight back. So 2 months has passed and I was still couldn't see anything. And uh pastor came and prayed over me and he had oil and he put it over my eyes and then he asked me if I believed in God and all these things. I told him yes, and then as that moment he's praying I felt like this cold breeze in my shoulders, and 3 weeks later I woke up and I could see again after 2 months of not seeing. So that made me be very close to being praying and like being spiritual and like um, believing in miracles because I am a miracle. The doctors told my mom, "What happens to your son? There's no explanation because he couldn't see for 2 months, and I don't know how he just got his sight." So do you? He's like, doctor told my mom, "I know I'm not supposed to talk about this, but do you believe in? Are you guys religious?" And my mom was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "So what happened to your son was a miracle because he's not supposed to be seeing." 6 years later, I'm a flight attendant. I've been flying the world when I was told 6 years ago that I was never going to see again. It's crazy.
Wow.
And I have proof. I have many pictures and documents and everything, and I have another, yeah, yeah. But that's why I'm very spiritual and how I keep practicing it because that gave me so much faith and like hope and like know that there are actual miracles that do happen day to day. We just don't know people's stories, but this is the first time I share it because I never talk about it. So yeah,
Thank you for sharing it.
yeah.
Got me in tears a little bit.
Sorry.
No, it's so good. It's healing, and it's
I was healed and I know what it is to be healed and how to be grateful. That's why I'm always grateful no matter where I am. My very first trip when I got my first layover, I started crying because crew scheduling was like, well, because he has to do like they put me to work and I went through that. When I'm like, I got on my layover, I'm like, I was blind and now I'm on a layover. I'm a flight attendant. I started crying. I got on my knees on my layover. I started crying. I'm like, thank you, God, all these things. And then like I came back and I'm like, I don't care. I never complain. There's flight attendants that they're like, oh, I got a shitty trip, or sorry, pardon my French. They're like, oh, I got a whatever
no
trip. I'm
good.
like, I'm just grateful that I am here doing it because I wasn't supposed to be here doing this job, and I'm doing it. You're complaining because you got to do 2 flights in one day. I'm like, no, be grateful.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez, that is so good.
That's why I never complain because I learned that was like my literally eye-opening moment. I'm like, okay,
Literally.
yeah,
Like,
but yeah,
wow.
yeah,
Thank you for sharing that. That's very touching and so
yeah.
true to so many things.
Sorry, I just threw it out there.
No, you're good. Thank you so much.
uh,
Oh man,
yeah,
I'm really glad you shared that on here too. Thank you.
no, you're welcome.
I hope I hope you feel comfortable that you can
Yeah,
share.
yeah, yeah. No, yeah, yeah.
It's like, um,
Yeah.
because those experiences that we have, because I've had similar
Hmm.
things like that, not to that extreme or whatever with sight, but
Yeah,
I've had my own share of, um, I guess, an awakening, so to speak. I guess some people
yeah.
call it, and that was kind of recent. And
Mm.
within the last year or so, after my friend passed, it's really shocked me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't believe in God. I didn't believe in anything, after I
Yeah.
didn't believe in miracles. I didn't believe in any of that, right? And
Yeah.
so, because a negative sense of religion kind of skewed a lot of things for me. So it was very hard for me to just kind of like, I just thought this is all there is, like, yeah, I lost a lot of people in my life. So it was just like,
Yeah.
God doesn't exist, whatever, because this and this wouldn't happen, and the way I was taught was like,
Hmm.
happened to you because you did this and this, and so it was like, I was shame. It was this built around shame. And I feel like I had that experienced in a different way of like, healing of the heart,
Okay.
um, of not, I was miserable. I was one of those flight attendants that were like, "Oh, I got this trip," da, da, da," you know what I mean? So mad
Yeah.
about everything, and it's just like,
Yeah.
I didn't, because I didn't believe in anything, and I think that's just kind of what happens. You live in your soul, you live in that this realm of just misery, right? And so it's
Yeah.
just right, and I had that so strong, and when you lose a lot, it may have not been my sight, but I
Yeah.
lost a lot of things that meant a lot to me, right? And it made me realize what's really important is love and
Hmm.
people, and those connections that we make, like living life instead of being miserable that you're here, right? And so
Yeah.
I had that experience, and it's in a different way. But so you sharing that just spoke a lot of volumes, and it's so true and authentic, because you can't make that up. You know what I mean?
No.
You can't make these things up. The experiences I've had, I can't make that up. Like, and it shakes me. I'm like, I'll sit here and be like, what is this? I had to go on Google and type in like, what is ego death? What is this and this?
Oh, wow.
Why am I dreaming this? Why am I seeing this? Why am I
Hmm.
visualizing things that are so real? Like, I literally lost my mind, and found myself in the spiritual aspect of things, and I
Hmm.
thought I was schizophrenic or this and this, like, because I was seeing negative energies too. So I learned to ground myself with the help of counseling, and
Yeah.
healers and people who are spiritual, to really help ground me, and come back to this and find this source of love, and God, and it's just, it's so healing. And so for you to
Hmm.
share that, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I hope it just rings true to a lot of people. I feel it'd be very inspiring. And thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. Uh, but
That's all.
yeah, no, thank you. All right. So let me go ahead and get into kind of wrapping it up, I guess, right now, because the last questions I have, I
Okay.
are questions that I ask all my guests.
All right.
So the first one is, if you knew you wouldn't fail at something, what would you do if you knew you wouldn't fail at something?
If anyone feel at something, um, maybe start like a business.
Hmm.
Don't know what kind of business yet, but like start like a business that I knew that I was, like long term was gonna take care of me and my family and my future children's and like generations, just start something that I knew that was always gonna be there for my next family in line.
Yeah.
Don't know what kind of business, but definitely a bit business.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
I know. All right. Well, the next question then is, if money wasn't an obstacle, what would you be doing?
So I'll be taking my family on adventures and trips every single week. Like what I'm doing, but with them. Like, okay, let's go here for a week. Okay, let's go here for a week. Like just like travel the world with my family and my loved ones every single week, like or every month at least. Like go to different country, be there for like 2 weeks, go to another country for another 2 weeks, and just like live that. Just learn every culture along, not just me, but like my family as well.
Love that. Yeah. Oh. Then last question I have is, what does jumpsuit therapy mean to you?
Jumpsuit therapy means it's like where people I heard it before as well, but it's very true when being on a jumpsuit, being on a plane, sitting next to another flight attendant crew member that you've never met before, you met for the first time, and you're going to be on a trip either for a turn or for 2 days or for 3 days, no matter the time we're being. But you get to listen to them, their stories of life, whether it's that they bought a house or they had a cat or whatever it's happened, or did their vacations. and just having someone to talk about anything, and not caring about being judged or them being judged or whatever, because you're never gonna see them again unless you buddy bid or like became close. Just like jumpsuit therapy is like being able to like having a therapist for like the flight, but it's not really a therapist, but you use that person as a not use them, but get to share whatever you want to share or not share with them, and also be there and listen to people, because people always need someone to talk to vent to. And maybe they don't want to talk to their friends or anyone that they know about certain things, but they can come to us on a small trip, like on a just like on a brief moment, and just tell us all the things that they don't want to tell anyone else, but they tell us. So it's like a place to just like talk about anything and just all your problems or goals or even achievements, and just like having someone there to listen and to like, whether it's you want them to listen or you needed advice, there's always going to be someone in every flight sitting next to you that is willing to listen and give you an advice if needed.
Good answer. I like that. Because yeah, I think it's yeah a lot of that, and it's fun, and I love to get to take this concept to
Yeah.
a lot of people, um, because I think my brother talked about it last week, but yeah, we all kind of share a little bit of something on the jump seat or well, for
Hmm.
jobs in general. Um,
Yeah.
with each other, but it's I feel like it's unique in our way because we may never see
Yeah.
it again. So it's being really
Yeah.
vulnerable and like being open and real. So oh well, Michael, thank you so much. It's been an honor to have you
No, thank you,
on the
Kevin. It's been
show.
an honor. I'm so excited when you told me about it. I'm like, I'm so excited. I'm so excited that you're doing this. I'm very happy for you. I'm proud of you. And yeah, keep going. Don't give up. Keep going.
Absolutely.
You already started. So you already,
Yeah.
the hardest thing
Yeah.
to do is to start. You started.
Right.
So keep the ball going.
I made it this far.
Yeah, no,
So
there.
yeah.
But
Um,
yeah, thank you so much for having me. And I cannot wait to see what happens in the next few months, and then the end of the year, and then starting the year is just going to get better and better. I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot, and I'm really excited, and it's bigger than me, I feel, because it's all of us, it's everyone
Mm,
sharing our stories, and so that's what I mean. It's just an honor, and I'm thankful for you sharing and being vulnerable with me and audience and everything. It's refreshing.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, well, thank you again so much. And we'll do this again. So,
Yes.
um,
Yes, definitely,
see
for
you in
sure.
Orlando.
All right. I'll see you
All
in the
right.
skies wherever we have a layover or
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah.
Let's take a trip somewhere.
Let's do it. I'm down.
It's vacation. I mean, summer. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. It's coming. The summer's right around the corner. Let's go.
Yeah,
So,
true. All right. It was nice talking to you. Thank you so much for the moment and for the time. So take care.
absolutely. You too. Love, peace, and unity. That's what
Yes.
I'm saying.
All right. Bye.
Bye.